Good day. Thanks for joining us on another Jamaica Magazine program. I'm Adrian Atkinson, your host for the next half hour. From road development to increasing water supply, today's show has a bit of information from all areas. We kick things off with a word of advice, followed by the news.
Hurricanes can strike at any time. In the event of one, be prepared to act quickly. If a hurricane watch or warning has been issued, review your home disaster response plan. Map out likely routes to evacuate if your home is at risk and confirm with relatives or friends you plan to stay with. Also, confirm the location of the nearest shelter. Check your emergency supplies and restock if necessary. Remember, disasters do happen, so be prepared.
Good day, I'm Sandra Clark and this is your JIS News for Monday, September 30. Standard & Poor's S&P has upgraded Jamaica's long-term foreign and local currency rating from B to B+. S&P on Friday also gave the country's short-term foreign and local sovereign credit ratings a B. The outlook remained stable. The transfer and convertibility assessment was rated B-, coming from a B+ by the International Rating Agency. According to Standard & Poor's, the rating is a result of Jamaica's sustained progress in achieving macroeconomic stability and strengthening of its external liquidity. The rating comes just a few days after Jamaica completed its sixth and final review of the 3-year precautionary standby arrangement with the International Monetary Fund. Prime Minister Andrew Holness is currently in the U.S. capital of Washington, D.C., where he's tapped to hold high-level bilateral talks with Vice President Mike Pence. The talks comes on the heels of discussions with President Donald Trump while at the 74th session of the United Nations General Assembly in New York last week. At that time, the ongoing situation in Venezuela, energy security, and other areas of interest between the two countries were discussed. While in Washington, D.C., Mr. Holness is expected to meet with the president of the Inter-American Development Bank, Luis Moreno. Talks are also to be had with the heads of state from nations in the Gulf. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says a tree planting initiative aimed at combating climate change is to be launched shortly. The National Tree Planting Initiative will see over 3 million trees being planted across the island, representing 1 tree for every Jamaican citizen. Mr. Holness says the program will be launched on October 4 at Jamaica House and will be carried out over a 3-year period.
We remain committed to the reduction of the erosion of watersheds and the attendant impact on coastal ecosystems. We are partnering with others to ensure that our marine environment, on which our socio-economic survival depends, is being sustainably utilized and managed.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness was addressing the 74th session of the United Nations General Assembly on Friday. Mr. Holness used the occasion to recommit Jamaica's participation in fora that will further enhance action against climate change. Jamaica now has a survey of establishments that provides data on the total number of entities participating in commercial, business, and other similar engagements across Jamaica. The 2018 report will assist the public and private sectors to formulate strategies, policies, and programs. Findings from the survey will also be used as an input for the Statistical Business Registrar, SBR, which is maintained by the Statistical Institute of Jamaica, STATIN. Endorsing the report at the launch last Wednesday, Minister of Finance Dr. Nigel Clark said it provides a baseline for related future surveys.
It is absolutely crucial to have reliable data on which policy can be formulated and data on which private enterprises can base their strategies. We are recognizing that policy that is built on the background or on the foundation of data is policy that can actually be forceful in alleviating the concerns and the problems that we face.
Meanwhile, Director General of the Planning Institute of Jamaica, PIOJ, Dr. Wayne Henry, said the data will help to identify and understand economic trends and assist with the growth and expansion for businesses.
The PIOJ and its partners in producing the JC are confident that this and future surveys will contribute significantly to filling the need for data to enhance business, economic planning and development in Jamaica.
The Jamaica Survey establishment was carried out by Statin and published by the PIOJ. Funding support is from the World Bank through the Foundations for Competitiveness and Growth project. The Ministry of Justice says it will be revising the Dogs Liability of Injuries Act to make owners of dogs that attack persons be criminally liable. The decision was made following the recent attack on a school teacher by 4 pit bulls. Portfolio Minister Delroy Chuck says currently the law only provides for compensation when a person is attacked or injured.
We're going to repeal that law. That's the Dogs Liabilities for Injuries Act, and put in place Dogs Liability of Owners Act. So the burden will be on owners to ensure that their dogs are kept under control. And if the dogs are not kept under control, and they should escape from the yard, escape from the leash, and injure persons, then there will be the possibility, remember I'm saying these are proposals, of criminal liability.
Minister Chuck was speaking last Thursday at a contract signing and press briefing. The minister says other stakeholders, such as the Ministry of Local Government and Community Development and the Ministry of Industry, Commerce, Agriculture and Fisheries, will assist in updating the legislation. And finally, $2.8 million will be used by government to train 30 school administrators how to better serve and educate students with special education needs. These include principals, vice principals, and members of school boards from selected schools across the island. This is being facilitated through a Memorandum of Understanding signed recently with the Ministry of Education, the Jamaica Social Investment Fund, and the National College for Educational Leadership, NCEL.
The course will seek to help educators to transform their physical school environment and classrooms to encourage inclusivity and to facilitate the maximum learning of children with disabilities. The course will seek to help educators to make intentional attempts to inculcate in teachers the dispositions needed for them to create inclusive classrooms.
And that's important because while we do things in the classrooms, while we do things with the students, it is also important that we spend the necessary time to focus on the principals and the vice principals who provide leadership in the schools.
The Inclusive School Leadership course is being funded by JSIF through its Basic Needs Trust Fund and administered by NCEL. The course is aimed at strengthening the capacity of principals to create inclusive school environments that will ensure children living with disabilities can be successfully enrolled in mainstream schools. And that's it for JIS News today. I'm Sandra Clark. Thanks for watching.
The Hagley Park Road improvement project is over 80% complete. Yes, the government is ensuring that you get to and from your destination with as little a hassle as possible. Get more details from the National Works Agency.
Driving through 3 miles all the way down Hagley Park Road a few years ago might have been any of these things for you. A chaotic encounter of traffic from maybe about 3 sections of the island. A resounding morning and evening tune of piercing vehicular horns. Or an irksome journey for a motoring public in a hurry, but hardly going anywhere. With 70,000 vehicles filtered through the 3 miles area daily, it's one of the country's busiest intersections, and now one of the most accommodating. Here's how we dissect 4 separate components of the work at the Hagley Park Road Legacy Project.
As it relates to the bridge here at Portia Simpson Miller Square, the bridges are complete As a matter of fact, they are in use. What is left to be done is that along the structure that takes persons along Spanish Town Road, we have a bit of paving to do at the eastern end of that lane, or those lanes that take persons towards downtown Kingston. The contractor is now working to do the final bit of work so that the asphaltic concrete works can begin on those two lanes that take traffic into downtown Kingston. The lanes that take traffic out of the city towards 6 Mile, those lanes have been done. We still have a bit of work to do along Spanish Town Road up to the boundary. So part and parcel of what we intend to do is to have certain points along Hagley Park Road signalized. So we intend to put back the signals, and we have done so at Woodland Avenue. We have put up a new set of signals at O'Mara Road, also at Keysing Avenue, Margaret Villa. We are yet to have the signals there installed, but rest assured, this will be done before the project is complete. We are also going to be putting back the signals at Waltham Park Road and Hagley Park Road. Signals are there as we speak, but those are of a temporary nature. The permanent signals will be put up at all of these locations. In respect of the laying of the main sewer trunk, that has been completed. We still have work to do in respect of the connections that are to be made to the different entities along Hagley Park Road. That, of course, will be done by the National Water Commission at the appropriate time. In respect of the stormwater drains, we still have a bit of work to do in the 3 Miles area to ensure that all the new features that we have installed, that there is interconnectivity taking the water into the main drain that takes it out to sea. So I would say that the drainage network is somewhere in the 90s insofar as percentage complete is concerned. In terms of the corridor, we would have completed the widening activity. What is being done now in terms of activities, we are putting in the sidewalks in areas along Hagley Park Road. We still have some work to do in respect of the completion of infrastructure to do with the laying of some docks, but that I expect will be completed in very, very short order so that the sidewalk works can move apace in those areas where such activity is outstanding.
So, if you're heading to 6 Miles, if you're going to downtown, or heading to Marcus Garvey Drive or Halfway Tree, that converging conflict at 3 Miles is much easier on the motoring public. Now, the Hagley Park Road Legacy project is about 80% complete, but already the motoring public that are still in a hurry seem to be moving, and the honking horns play at a reduced decibel.
Now we have been able to separate the traffic into 3 distinct flows, and so that in and of itself would have brought some significant benefits to the motoring public.
But recognizing that there are still outstanding works to be done, persons are being encouraged to use the road with extreme caution.
As the days and the weeks are ticked off, rest assured that persons will start to not only see but feel the benefits of the improved works that we have done along Hagley Park Road.
you're on the road, take your time when you're on the road. Bear this in mind when you're on the road. You could save a life when you're on the road.
Government is utilizing all ways and means to ensure that your water supply is uninterrupted. Hear more next.
Hello and welcome to OPM Connect, the program that helps explain government's activities and policies. I'm Naomi Francis. Today we look at water management, especially in regards to the corporate areas. Some communities are experiencing a lack of or shortage of water, if you will. And so today we're being joined by the Minister with responsibility for water. He really is the Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Senator the Honorable Pernell Charles Jr. Welcome, sir. We also have Mr. Michael Dunn, the Vice President of Operations for the Eastern Division at the National Water Commission. And joining us too is Mr. Audley Thompson, the Managing Director of Rural Water Supply Limited. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. This is a hot button issue. Water is life, as they say. Minister, help us understand what's really going on regarding the provision of water, particularly in some communities in the corporate area.
Well, firstly, it is the most challenging of topics. And besides our national security, I think that for Jamaica now, this has been the topic on the radio, in the communities, in the churches, because water is so critical to every aspect of your life. That's why our Prime Minister has truly mandated that we ramp up the communication so we can ensure that the public is fully aware of the accurate information and of the situation we are in. We are committed, firstly, to ensuring that we develop a system that will allow us to not repeat the mistakes of the past. We've inherited a system which is deficient and vulnerable because it relies so much on rainfall. And we're moving towards, in the medium and long term, a system that will introduce different means of sourcing and delivering water and reducing the wastage. But in the short term, which is what people want to hear, what are we doing? So the NWC and the Rural Water, in addition to other agencies and the municipalities, have been working very hard to really assess the drought, which has been an intense and a prolonged drought. It has caused us to see massive reductions in flow to the rivers, which feed into our treatment systems. And so the reality, the practical reality for us, take for instance our Mona Reservoir, which has a capacity of 808.5 million gallons. When you're seeing that at 30%, 35% now, which is improved, it gives you a very clear appreciation that we have to be very efficient with what we have.
What's happening at Hermitage, Mr. Dunn?
Okay, well, Hermitage is currently at about 40% of capacity.
Wow,
so
still below 50.
Absolutely, so we are producing on an average about 8 million gallons of water per day. On a normal circumstance, the demand is 16 million, so you can see there where the deficit and where the shortfall is. Yes. And as the Minister had pointed out, Mona, which is just about 30-35% of capacity, 35 to be accurate, we are producing roughly about 8 million gallons.
There's a real problem.
So there is a deficit.
With the resources we have, though, you're saying that not all customers of the National Water Commission is affected. So tell us exactly what is happening in terms of the distribution of water.
All right, so let me tell you, because it's not the entire corporate areas that is affected. And if I would start from 6 miles, so Duane Park, Washington Gardens, Patrick City, Meadowbrook Estate, Queensboro, Havendale, Meadowbrook, Forest Hill, Chancery, Stonehill don't have a problem.
They have regular water?
They have regular water supply. It's only the area that is bordered down along like State Gardens, Zeta Gardens, Dunrobin Court, areas along Malines Road, and locations along Walton Park Roads and some part of Eastwood Park Road that are Maxfield Avenue that are currently being affected, and that is directly in relation to the unrepaired pipeline that has been out of operation since December last year. We are expecting, as the Minister will probably tell you, that that pipeline should be back in operation sometime by December of this year. there is a particular pipeline from 6 miles that run all the way along Smalishtown Road up to Glenmore Road that has been there for in excess of 50 years. And it's a very, very shaky infrastructure. And that is limiting or reducing our ability to be able to bring additional water into Kingston up to Marsco Road. So that pipeline to the tune, to the extent of $60 million is being contemplated, and in fact is far along in terms of being replacement. So that is going to be an added solution to the problem. What the minister solution that minister had mentioned.
That's a solution in the corporate area.
Yes.
And so we're focused on the corporate area because it seems the corporate area has the greatest issue. What about the rest of Jamaica, and in particular too, the population density in areas such as Portmore, Clarendon?
Okay, well, we don't have a problem in St. Catherine as we speak.
Don't.
Okay? No, we don't have a problem in Portmore.
Including Hellshire?
Including Hellshire, and as I had pointed out to you earlier, the problem with Portmore is more of an operational issues related to GPS and so forth. Now, that matter has been sorted out. But what we have also done to improve the service level to Portmore is that there are 2 additional wells at Goshen Government Park. One has already been put back in place, and the other one will be ready within another month or thereabout. And with those 2 wells coming into operation, there will be an additional 1 million gallons going to Portmore, which should be able to suffice and meet the demand in Portmore. So there should not be an issue in Portmore. And as we speak, Portmore really don't have an issue.
Okay.
Outside of the occasional operational challenges.
So apart from the corporate area then, Mr. Dunn, you're saying that we're pretty much okay with the rest of Jamaica?
Well, let me tell you, the rest of Jamaica, the West is really not seeing a problem. There is currently a situation in Portland and St. Mary and St. Anne. A lot of those locations are surface sources, and those rivers are running very, very low. Some of the streams have dried up completely. So we are having a challenge in those areas. It's not much on the news, but it is still a problem. In fact, we have been able to kind of manage the station very well by moving the water around from one location to another and sharing it, doing a bit of regulation, augment with trucking. So that has been okay. I notice, you would have noticed that you have not heard in the news about schools being out of water. So we have been able to manage that situation very well by doing extensive trucking. And that seems to be kind of making the problem as less.
What does Rural Water Supply Limited do?
The non-utility service areas are mainly areas that are managed by the municipal corporation and in some instances community organizations. These are small systems, right? And the modality of supply might be a spring, might be a river source, might be catchment tanks in terms of rainwater harvesting. Rural Water Supply Limited have gotten, as the Minister explained, an increased budget of $800 million for this financial year. At present, we intend to complete 26 systems in rural areas. We're talking about water supply systems. So far, we have started approximately 14 projects, right, spanning all over the island, right? If you call a parish, I can tell you what project we are doing there and when we intend to complete it.
Portland.
In Portland, you have Kildare, Charlestown. You have an old pipeline that normally supplies Buff Bay, right? And that is being replaced. You have Bangor Ridge up in the hills of West Portland, right? They have challenges in terms of water. We are fixing up an entombment, we are piping it, and we're also fixing up a catchment tank. That's in West Portland.
Boy, you've challenged me.
East Portland.
I gave you the challenge.
East Portland.
You picked it up very good.
East Portland. You have some challenges along the strip from Ferry Hill to Long Bay.
Yes,
Boston, the water there is salty. We are doing some investigation in drilling a new well in Islington to actually improve that system. Right? So you see we're working in East and West Portland.
And what about St. Elizabeth, for example?
All right, St. Elizabeth, Top Aberdeen. We're doing a system in Top Aberdeen where the municipal corporation has been at us for several years, right? And we are now putting in place where we're going to take some water, we're going to put up a solar pumping station, and we're going to be building reservoirs and things like that.
Yes. So certainly you're integrating the entire island and not focus too much on the corporate area. You're making sure that everybody has a sense of priority, really, so to speak. We really want to acknowledge the fact that the Prime Minister leading the delegation to the United Nations General Assembly is really, really paying attention to this matter of climate change adaptation, mitigation, and of course, financing, very, very important, and certainly it's something that we all as Jamaicans must watch and must find a way to be a part of in terms of solutions. Thank you so much for joining us for this week's edition of OPM Connect. Join us again next week for another interesting discussion.
I'm deeply concerned by the number of Jamaicans killed on our roads. Safety on our roads is our responsibility. Jamaicans, drivers, passengers, motorcyclists, and pedestrians, slow down. Observe the rules of the road. Be courteous. Drive defensively. Be considerate. Buckle up. Wear a helmet. The careless overtaker is only rushing to the undertaker. Not observing the rules of the road could cost you your life and that of your loved ones. I encourage all road users to take special care as we use public thoroughfares. The life you save may be your own. Remember, your family wants you to arrive alive.
Garbage collection, maintenance of public sanitary conveniences, upkeep of cemeteries, provision of water shops, road improvement, street lights, poor relief programs, community beautification. All these services are funded by you. Yes, they are, when you pay your property tax. Pay your annual property tax to make Jamaica the place of choice for all.
And that's all the time we have on this station. Be sure to join us again tomorrow for another informative program. We are available online at your leisure. Visit gis.gov.jm, add our social media pages, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and download our mobile app to your smartphone. On behalf of the entire team here at the GIS, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Thanks for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.